Trying My Best Isn't Enough, But You Are, by I Love Jesus Christ. A Batman All Media Types DCU and Green Arrow fanfic, rated for general audiences, with additional tags for wholesome, hurt comfort, Roy Harper and Jason Todd bromance, minor Roy Harper, Jason Todd, cute Leanne Harper is a gift, protective Roy Harper, Jason Todd is Leanne Harper's parent, Roy Harper needs a hug, Jason Todd is good with kids, Jason Todd gives good advice, heroin, drug addict Roy Harper, recovering addict Roy Harper, cravings, good parent Roy Harper, parent Roy Harper, exhaustion, Roy Harper-centric, Roy Harper is not okay, mention Jade Gwyn, past Roy Harper / Jade Gwyn. Summary. Roy's trying to juggle the Arrow family, the Titans trying to have a reunion, and parent a kid all at the same time. He feels like he's drowning in expectations, and, what's worse, he's craving more than ever. Chapter 1. Roy Harper is 2 hours late, picking Leanne up from school. Again. He's juggling 3 different things when the front office calls. One of which is Leanne's science project, due tomorrow, that he forgot about completely. The other 2? A text from Dinah asking for backup on a mission in Madagascar, and an email from the Titans about yet another friendly catch-up. It's not that he doesn't want to help. He always wants to help. But every time he stretches himself for the League, for the Titans, for Mina's combat forms, or Connor's moral dilemmas, Leanne gets the short end of the bowstring. And worse, every time he fails her, he hears that voice, the old one from past soaked in lies and heroin, whispering, "You're not enough." Obviously, with his high nerves and not so high hopes, he's startled and reaches for the bow when he hears an unexpected knock. Still keeping his bow tucked to him, he opens the door. Jason shows up like a damn stray cat. No knock, no warning. Just pushing open the door with a brown bag under one arm and a recipe pulled up on his phone in the other. "I heard your kid needs a baking project for school," Jason says, ignoring the mess of the first half-finished project parts on the kitchen table, or the warfare of half-baked arrows and gear mixed in with children's toys on the floor. "You planning to whip something up with 3 crackers and expired yogurt? Thought I'd stop you from poisoning the only Harper worth saving." Roy glares. He wants to tell Jason to screw off. Instead, he sits down and lets his head hit the table. "I can't even remember what it's supposed to be. I think something about states of matter," Roy mutters. "The teacher already hates me. She gave me the stink eye in front of Leanne last week because I was late for pickup again. Jason, I'm not cut out for this. I thought I was getting better." Jason doesn't lecture him, doesn't pity him, just starts unpacking baking soda, food dye, and enough sugar to kill a half-grown bear. Not because Jason likes sweet things, quite the opposite, actually, but because Leanne likes those things, and Jason knows Leanne likes those things. "Well, you're not going to get better in one day, but you are going to bake the volcano cake with me, Harper." They work in silence for a while. Leanne already asleep after a rough day. Jason takes control. He always does when people are breaking. He sets timers, hands Roy spoons, nudges him to taste the frosting, even when he clearly doesn't want to eat. His fingers brush Roy's wrist, lingering just long enough. "I heard you bailed on your meeting last week." Jason says quietly, not accusing. Just stating. "Didn't feel like being watched by people waiting for me to slip up." Roy answers. "They're not watching you like that." Jason says. "You are." That hits a little too hard. A little too honest. Roy leans on the counter, breath catching. He kept his voice low, even if he knew Leanne was asleep. "I wanted a hit so bad this morning, Jay. Like, my hands were shaking. It wasn't even a trigger, just existing." Jason doesn't look away. "Yeah, that's the thing about addiction. Sometimes the ghost just shows up. No doorbell." He slides over a bottle of water and opens the fridge with his other hand. "You keeping that old stash in the tool cabinet behind the house?" Roy freezes. You knew? I'm your best friend." He deadpans. "I know everything your nosy neighbor doesn't." Roy swallows. I threw it out. Jason nods like it matters. Like he's proud. Like that's enough. Then we bake. One craving at a time. The cake turns out weird. The volcano doesn't erupt right, and the frosting keeps sliding down the sides. But it's red and messy and absolutely full of sugar, and Leanne loves it. When Roy walks her into school the next morning, Jason trailing behind in civilian clothes, cargo pants, red shirt, and a leather jacket that still somehow screams Red Hood, Leanne bounces up to her teacher and proudly presents the molten marshmallow matter cake. The teacher stares at the two men, Roy dressed in a wrinkled hoodie and unshaved, and Jason with scars and a grin, and sighs. "Well, this is creative," she says, but she smiles. Leanne beams. That's what matters. Jason punches Roy lightly on the shoulder once they're back outside. "You survived one project, one craving, one day." "That's not enough," Roy says, rubbing his temples. "There's still Connor asking me to mediate with John, Mia wanting to go out and patrol again, Ollie guilt-tripping me for not joining the mission with Dinah, and the Titans blowing up my inbox like we're 20 again." Jason cuts him off. "Yeah, but they're not here right now. Leanne is, you are, and I am." Jason crashes on Roy's couch that night. Leanne insists on it. Says JJ makes the pancakes better anyway. Thing is, Jason doesn't make pancakes in the morning. Roy does. It's just that Jason made Roy feel more like Roy. Less chance of disassociating or zoning out for the pancakes to be burned. It scares Roy how much his daughter notices. At midnight, Roy can't sleep. His hands keep twitching. He goes outside and sits on the steps. Not touching anything, just staring out at the horizon like he might offer answers. It was a little hard with the fact it was raining. Jason joins him 15 minutes later, with 2 mugs of coffee. Though Roy knew better. He knew the coffee was mixed with hot chocolate, which was Roy's comfort drink. He developed it after giving Leanne hot chocolate after her nightmares to soothe her. Little did Roy know that he just started associating the drink with Leanne. And before he knew it, every time he got the scent of it, he felt calmer and clear-headed. "You gonna make it tonight?" he asks. Roy didn't answer for a while. "I don't know." Jason passes him the mug. "Then hold something. It doesn't have to be Faith. Could be a mug, a person, a dumb cereal box. Just hold something." So, Roy does. He takes the mug and just holds it. He feels the warmth of it, the grip of the cup. And eventually, he laughs. "You're a weird-ass guardian angel." "Well, I did die once." Roy hums. It was different bringing up their past with each other. He'd feel shame if he brought up him being an ex-addict to the Titans due to past arguments with them, criticizing him over it. But he doesn't with Jason, and Jason feels comfortable enough that he doesn't tense up, or his smile become a little too tight when he mentions his death, or jokes about it with Roy like he did with the others. "Still smoking?" Roy asks. Roy finally lands on hoping for something to relate to. "No," Jason answers. "I stopped a bit ago. I didn't want Leanne finding a pack randomly one day and getting into it. Besides, it wouldn't be fair to you with your temptations." Roy was surprised, to say the least. His eyes flickered to Jason, and he felt a familiar burning sensation in them, and his throat became a little too wet and shaky for his liking. You quit smoking for me, my kid?" Jason tilts his head, curls stretching and recoiling at the action, as if it's no big deal. As if Jason was talking about the weather, rather than giving up something he's done since he was a child, all over Roy and his kid. "Yeah, we're best friends, aren't we?" Roy didn't know whether to laugh or cry. He didn't do either. Before he knew it, he hugged Jason. Much more interested in what Jason said about holding onto a person rather than holding a mug. And the big bad Red Hood let him. They both knew it wasn't the rain that was starting to make Jason's shirt wet. Chapter 2. Here Comes Them Calling. 2 days later, Roy gets a call from Dinah. She's pissed. They needed him for a recon mission and he bailed. Oliver's already ranting to the League, and Mia's mad that Roy won't train her again until he gets his crap together. Jason listens when Roy paces the kitchen. Then he shuts the phone off entirely. "You can't save them all, Harper." "I know," Roy hisses through his teeth. "But you don't. because every time someone calls you, you answer. You're trying to parent everyone like they're your kid. Roy glares at him. So what do I do? Jason shrugs. Just start being a dad to Leanne. Then maybe try to be a person to yourself. You don't owe the world your soul. Roy doesn't cry. Not really. But when Jason reaches over and squeezes his shoulder, he leans into it like it's the only thing keeping him standing. It very well might be. A week later, Leanne brings home a Parents Who Helped Me Most award from her teacher. It's in glitter and battily glued macaroni. Roy chokes up reading it. In the corner, it reads, "Thank you, Daddy, for the volcano cake, and staying up late even when you're tired. I love you." Jason tapes it to the fridge like it's a Medal of Honor. Roy doesn't say anything for a long time. When he goes to the kitchen, pulls out a cookbook, and asks, "You think Leanne would like a science-themed cookie set?" Jason smiles. "Let's find out." Roy Harper is far from perfect. But today, he's clean. His kid is smiling, his cravings are quiet, and Jason Todd is still in his kitchen, muttering about incorrect oven temperatures and using too much vanilla as he tries to balance Leanne on the table and show her how to ice cookies properly. It's not peace, but it's almost. It's Donna who shows up. Roy knew it would happen eventually. He just didn't expect it to be on a Tuesday while he's elbow-deep in cardboard solar system models with Leanne and trying to juggle a speakerphone call with Connor. When he opens the door, Donna Troy is waiting there with arms crossed and tired eyes. She's still beautiful, still terrifying, still not his, still left him for Kyle Rayner. "Hey," she says, not a smile in sight. "You've been ignoring us." Roy glances behind her. No Kyle. No electrocutioner. Leanne safe behind him. Just her. Alone. "I've been busy," he mutters. "Busy blowing off 5 reunions? Mia said you skipped patrols. Connor says you've been on edge. The Titans are worried." Roy bristles. The Titans weren't even there when I was detoxing in a motel with a kid crying for apple slices, and I couldn't move off the bathroom floor. Donna flinches. Just slightly. "I'm here now." "Yeah," Roy says bitterly. "When it's convenient. Why don't you go back to your space cop boyfriend anyway?" Roy hates it, how he prided himself when he was younger that he could get so many hookups. But it was just that, hookups. No one ever actually stayed. And when you were a single father with a daughter already crying behind you because she misplaced one of her toys, you get a slap of reality fast about that. Cheshire, Donna, anyone really. Roy could be angry at them. He does tend to lash out at times. Roy knows he's angry at himself the most, though, and he doubts that will ever change. Chapter 3. Titans. They meet anyway. Titan's Tower, just like old times. Except Roy can't stop twitching in his seat, checking the clock on his phone, wondering if Jason remembered to give Leanne her bedtime snack, wondering if her teacher emailed about a group project, wondering if he'll lose it if Wally calls him Red, or if anyone calls him Speedy accidentally one more time, like nothing ever happened. The others try. They laugh, they tell stories, they talk about getting the band back together. But it's like they're all looking for a time that doesn't exist anymore. A version of Roy who's been buried underneath relapses, shame, single fatherhood, and silence. Donna doesn't say much the whole time, just watches him. He thinks she sees it, how he fidgets, how he stares past them. Maybe she's remembering how she ended it to go to Kyle, how Cheshire walked out after giving him Leanne. Maybe, Roy figured, everyone walks away when things get too real, because Roy was just a funny wingman. The party guy. The pass-around that will give you the best night of your life, but by morning you can ditch like nothing happened. Roy's probably grinding his teeth at this point. He wants to go home to Leanne. Leanne never leaves him. She loves him, and thinks the world of him, even. Roy's so scared that Leanne will realize who Roy actually is when she's older. How she may leave him like everyone else. He distantly wonders if Jason will leave him too. He doubts it. A lot of people look at Jason the way they look at him. Jason gets it. But there was that one time when Jason left him. How Jason thought Roy deserved better than him. Roy wanted to scream in his face how Roy didn't care if Jason got worse or better or anything, because Jason didn't judge him like the others did. Jason thought he was bringing Roy down with him, but Jason was the only thing keeping him up from a breakdown. Roy didn't last long after Jason left him. He thanks God that Jason came back. He's one of the few people who have. Safe to say, he barely makes it through lunch. The sun's down by the time Roy gets home. He's already dreading checking his messages. Mia probably sent 5 texts about which arrows to fetch, and Connor might have left a voicemail about ethics again. There's still leftover glitter in his hair from a craft project Leanne abandoned this morning. His back hurts, his teeth hurt, his soul hurts. He walks in quietly, expecting the usual clutter and chaos, and there, on the couch, Leanne, fast asleep on Jason's chest, clutching a stuffed animal. Jason's head is tilted back, one hand on her small back, breathing slow and even. The TV is still on, playing bluey and soft, flickering light. Roy stops in the doorway and just stares. He's been riding on a thread all day, itching for relief, craving something to take the edge off. He thought about it, really thought about it. He didn't use, but the thought had teeth. Until now. Because the second he sees them, his daughter, and the man who's been there even when Roy couldn't be, something inside him lets go. The craving dies. So does the tight coil of guilt in his chest. There's no decision, no conscious move. He doesn't weigh pros and cons. He just walks forward, toeing off his boots, and drops onto the other side of the couch. Leanne shifts in her sleep, but doesn't wake. Jason stirs just enough to open one eye and smirk. "We saved you a spot," he murmurs, voice gravel rough with sleep. Roy leans back, his head hitting the pillow. He feels a small hand brush his arm in her sleep. Jason's warmth near his side, and the bluey theme looping quietly in the background. "Thanks," Roy whispers. He closes his eyes. He sleeps the best he has in years. Chapter 4. Breaking. It's supposed to be simple. A League-sanctioned op to dispose of an arms facility with Mia, Connor, and a few junior recruits. Roy didn't even say yes, just blinked and he was already en route, with a quiver slung over his shoulder and a headache pounding between his eyes. The Titans were waiting at the drop site. Donna's there with Kyle, still holding herself like royalty. Gar cracks a joke about finally dragging Red out of his cave. Corey tells him she missed him. Wally claps his back a little too hard. Roy laughs like it doesn't hurt. They want him to slide back into what he used to be. The reckless hotshot. The charming screw-up. The Titan. But Roy's bones don't bend that way anymore. He's trying. He really is. Until his phone buzzes. A teacher, Miss Stanford. Leanne's teacher. "Mr. Harper?" He's already staring too long, knowing that there will probably never be a Miss Harper. He feels so guilty to Leanne about that, more than he can express. "Leanne got into a fight with another student today. I'd recommend you come immediately, or have an emergency contact pick her up." His throat closes. "Something wrong?" Connor asks. Roy hesitates. Then, "Leanne needs me. She got into a fight. I need to go." The reactions came fast. "Seriously? We just started the op. You've been bailing on everyone lately, Roy. One fight? Kids bounce back. Can't someone else get her?" "We need you, Roy." He stays. He helps himself for it, but he stays. Everyone looks at him, disappointed. It was so close to whenever they found out he took heroin, whenever he was speedy, that he caved. They finished the mission, some blown-up crates and minor injuries, and a few League thanks. And he's already halfway out the door before anyone even blinks. No one chases him this time. At least, that's what Roy thought. When he gets back to the safe house, the lights are low. The house is quiet. The only sound, a soft hiccuping sob from the living room. Jason is on the couch with Leanne bundled in his lap, like she's 5 again. Not a growing kid who just wanted her dad at her side today. Her cheeks are blotchy, her fists are balled tight in Jason's shirt. "She hit a kid who said she didn't have a mom," Jason says, quietly. Said she only had a dad, and he doesn't know how to show up. Roy's heart drops straight out of his chest. I tried, Jay, he says hoarsely, voice already cracking. I wanted to go, I told them, but they kept... Yeah, Jason says, eyes sharp. They always keep you somewhere else. I've seen it. They follow him. Of course they do. The Titans show up at the safe house, not even an hour later. Donna leading, Wally just behind, Gar and Corey at the edges. Connor looks more conflicted than the rest, but he's still there, arms crossed. We need to talk, Donna says. Jason, immediately in the hallway, arms folded. Now's not the time. Donna doesn't flinch. She's his daughter. He can't just use her as an excuse to bail every time he gets uncomfortable. And that's it. That's the trigger. Roy steps out of the kitchen, eyes bloodshot, fist clenched at his side. You think I wanted to bail? He growls. You think I don't wake up every day wondering if I'm doing any of this right? If I'm enough for her? If I'm ever gonna be more than just a cautionary tale for the next generation of archers? No one speaks. Not at first. He keeps going. You all want the old Roy back? The one who cracked jokes and flirted too much and didn't show up for anything real? That guy's dead. He died with a needle in his arm while his daughter cried herself to sleep. Donna looks like she's been slapped. Wally's mouth opens, then shuts. I'm not going back to the tower. I'm not playing tag team nostalgia while my kid gets into fights because her dad was too busy playing hero to show up. If that makes me selfish, fine, but I'm done. No one follows him when he turns his back. Leanne's in bed by the time he makes it back to her room. Jason's on the floor beside the bed, keeping a watch like always. She asked if you still wanted to be her dad. Jason says softly, like maybe you didn't show up because you were done. Roy sinks to his knees. His vision blurs. I'll never be done. Jason doesn't say anything, just puts a hand on Roy's shoulder and squeezes. The next morning, Roy makes waffles. They're a little burnt. The batter's lumpy. Usually he makes the best waffles, but his vision's a little blurry with suppressed tears, and the kitchen is a disaster. But Leanne sits on the counter, kicking her legs and licking syrup off her fingers, smiling like the world isn't spinning. I'm sorry, baby girl, Roy says, finally able to meet her eyes. I should have been there. No mission's ever going to be more important than you. You're here now, Leanne says, simply, and that's it. That's all she needs. Later that day, Roy sends a text. Taking a break from Arsenal, don't ask me for casework. I'm finishing up the missions I already have, but nothing will be added on. If you need someone else's help, don't ask me, I won't do it. Don't contact me. I'll tell you guys when I'm back. It's almost funny how fast Jason steps in. 1 week later, reports are ticking in. Red Hood apprehends gun runners in Seattle. Red Hood breaks up a drug ring in Star City. Red Hood assists a league alert off the coast of Metropolis. No casualties. And all the missions? The ones Roy had been tapped for. When Roy asks, Jason shrugs like it's no big deal. Took your caseload. Told the league you're on paternity leave, which, frankly, you should have had 5 years ago. You're not worried about stretching yourself then? Jason raises an eyebrow. I spent years running from world-level assassin trainer to trainer. Roy. Helping you? It's the first time I'm doing something that feels good. Roy doesn't say thank you. He just lets the silence be soft, instead of heavy. They fall into a rhythm. Mornings are breakfast chaos, and Leanne forgetting her backpack, and Roy scribbling notes to Miss Stanford. Afternoons are Lego disasters and school pickups, and Jason pretending he doesn't enjoy coloring Bluey with a 6-year-old. Evenings are movies, half-asleep pizza, and 3 bodies sharing a couch despite the perfectly good bed in the other room. One night, after Jason gets back late from patrol, still in gear, limping from a roof jump gone sideways, he crashes onto the couch without taking off his helmet. Roy covers him in a blanket anyway. Leanne crawls in next to him, tiny and warm, muttering sleepily, "Night, JJ." Roy's phone buzzes on the coffee table. Tightens again. He stares at it for a long moment. Donna, Connor, Wally, all the noise, all the weight crashing onto him again. Didn't he say not to contact? He glances at Jason and Leanne. He hits decline. Then he sinks down between them, Leanne curled into his side, Jason's hand half-reaching even in sleep. And for the first time in months, years, Roy doesn't feel like something is slipping through his fingers. No masks, no missions, no guilt. Just family. He closes his eyes, breathing in warm air and sugar cereal, and old leather, and the soft weight of people who never made him choose between being Roy Harper and being enough. This is his home. This is his family. And he thanks God for it. Notes. That's it. Thank you guys for reading. Their old username was Fox, so in the lore of this channel, we have me, Bunny, and then we have my friend, Fox. I have no idea if she's ever going to do, anything, like, YouTube-wise. My teacher in my junior year of high school, me and him, before class, because he was my first period, we would, like, while we were waiting for people to get into the classroom, chat about DC Comics. Specifically Batman, because he was very much a Batman guy, but we would just chat about it, right? My girlfriend at the time, we both shared this class together, so she was sitting beside me, and I was talking about, Roy Harper, because Jason Todd and Roy Harper, right? I think I was explaining, like, the plot of, Red Hood and Arsenal comics, and she was like, okay, yeah, Roy Harper, he's like the fucking, Green Arrow's son, right? And the teacher walks up and he's like, and he had a heroin addiction. Because I'm a pretentious bitch and I unironically use teacups. And Jason with scars and yeah. Jason, Jesus fucking Christ. Do I want a soundbite of me saying daddy on the internet? Ooh, gross, okay. Ooh.